Today's topic is MAM for Windows. A while back, I created this video where I configured MAM for Windows. However, did you know that there are 3 levels of app protection policy from MAM? Where do you use this? In which use case do you use them? Which scenario? I have with me today Joery. Joery is an MVP. He will be joining Ignite for this year. So I thought it's a brilliant idea to bring him in before he travels to USA to explain about MAM for Windows. So please welcome my guest, Joery. And thank you for coming on this episode. We are really excited to hear about MAM for Windows. Please do a short introduction and what are we hitting for today?
Okay, thank you, Shady, for having me on the podcast. My name is Joery. I am a modern workplace architect at 𝗳𝗀𝗃𝗃 in Belgium, which is part of a bigger organization, the Kronos Group, which is a little more familiar in the name. My focus is on Intune, primarily Intune. I did some Microsoft 365 security tracks before, but we're getting a lot of projects for Intune. I'm in the IT for over 2 decades, so worked with NT Server in the beginning and Windows 89, and then progressed my way across all the new stuff that Microsoft throws at us. And then I got the opportunity to go and work in the Microsoft Cloud at the very early beginning. So when Office 365 was still called BPOS. So I have seen the birth of nearly all features with bells and whistles that Microsoft has now, going from BPOS to Office 365, going to Microsoft 365. And then they came out with a rather cool product, which was Intune. And I started working with it from the early days. It was practically not usable back then, but now they made significant steps to improve this. I made it my hobby. So this is where I am now. I recently got the MVP award for Intune, so it was really humbling, and it's something to be proud of. So
you've earned it, man.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Yes, and Bert told me that you will be in the Ignite doing something. Maybe you could share.
It's under NDA, of course.
Okay.
As most of the things are, but I can tell you that I will be supporting Lior at the Intune booth at Ignite in Chicago in November.
Perfect. I mean, this is more than enough. And I will be one of the people that will be watching you from far away. But I am more than excited to see your performance, your presentation during the Ignite. So all the best, man. You have my cheers.
Thank you, Shady. Thank you.
All right. Maybe you can tell us, what are we doing for today? What are we discussing into?
Yes, I've noticed with a lot of customers that there was still some unclarity on when they need to actually enroll a device into Entra ID and Intune. They had a lot of questions for that. So my goal in this podcast is actually to focus on MAM for Windows, because from my experience, the customers, they know that they can enroll mobile devices or use MAM for mobile devices, iOS, Android, and stuff like that. But the Windows part is still somewhat forgotten or in a gray zone in the backend. So that is why I wanted to get the focus on MAM for Windows in this podcast.
Okay. Perfect.
And we had some interesting use cases. For instance, a customer of ours does a lot of acquisitions, and he wants to onboard the devices of the new users practically instantly in their environment, which means they had to retire, wipe laptops, re-enroll them, etc., which takes time, of course. And they always foresee some new devices, but not for every single user a new device. And then there was a pretty good use case. So I told them, why not set up MAM for Windows? And then you can let all those new users on their existing laptops enter your company data or access your company data without any hassle. And then in a matter of time, you can wipe the devices, enroll the devices, but you can onboard them from day one. And that's why we set up MAM for Windows. And that's just one use case, just straight in my head. And the customer and also the end users, they were really happy about it. And with some restrictions, the data of the new company cannot go onto the old company's devices because, yeah, with the app protection policies and with conditional access policies, all the data was still manageable and secured.
Perfect. That makes a lot of sense. And thank you for sharing this specific scenario because so everyone could relate to this episode. Yep, perfect.
Yeah, and the policies that I create are based actually on the data protection framework that Microsoft has provided for us. The settings are obviously not carved in stone. You can edit them, etc., etc. And it consists actually out of 3 levels of security. So you have a level 1, and that is the minimum data protection configuration for enterprise devices. And it's just adding a pin to access stuff on the mobiles, creating a new profile in the Edge if you have a browser, etc., etc. And then the level 2 is one step beyond. So then it takes on conditional launch. So what do you need to have in place to get to the company data on a personal device in a secure and safe way? And then the 3rd level is actually the highest level of protection. And from what I noticed and out of experience, the level 3 is actually for the mega high profile users like CEOs, members of the board, HR managers, financial managers, which they have a lot of confidential data, a lot of private data, wages, numbers, Visa cards, stuff like that, sensitive data. And then the level 3 protection is merely for those kind of high profile secured users that you need to manage, or the data that you need to manage when they go into personal devices. And that is actually, in a nutshell, the 3 levels that Microsoft provides us. I have also prepared a demo for it. The policies, I have the 3 policies in my Intune, so we can quickly go over them. It's not the intention that we do a very deep dive or technical dive into this, but it's just to give the viewers and the people an idea of what is possible. And it's actually fairly simple to set up and to manage.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's hit the demo and see what we have.
Right. So I'll share my screen. So this is an Intune demo tenant that I have set up for this. And you can here see the 3 levels of the data protection that Microsoft has. This is actually the website, the Learn site from Microsoft. And here it's described every single setting for every level of protection that you can have. So, like I said, level 1, basic protection, and you see you have a lot of settings. This document is cross-platform, so the settings are for iOS, iPad, Android, and also Windows. We have more settings for the mobile devices because, you have really apps on the mobile devices, and on MAM for Windows, it's based on Edge. So you do everything in the Edge browser. So that's also the reason why there are less settings for MAM for Windows than for MAM for the mobile devices. And this is actually a blueprint that Microsoft provides us. So in here, I have the levels of the data protection, and these are every setting that Microsoft gives us, just basically built into a policy. So this is the level 1, and you see it's pretty basic. Level 2 is a little bit more, and then level 3 is also just a little bit more. For MAM for Windows, it's pretty basic, but if I, let's say, give the Android policy a look, then you can see there's a lot more settings that you can configure. But this is because on the mobile devices, we have apps, And on the Windows, we just use the Edge browser. We force the Edge browser with conditional access policies, which we have here. Also, I'm just going to quickly go over the settings. So there are a few conditions. So obviously, the device platform is Windows. We have a client app that says the browser. So that is Edge. And then there we force actually to go to Edge. So if a customer or a client or whatever, he wants to access company data, let's say via Firefox or Chrome, you will get the message that you cannot get this from here. So that you need to use the Edge browser for it. I have also a demo prepared for this. So I have a virtual machine. It's clean, just a few browsers installed, and it's Windows 11.
Just a question, sorry. So you're saying the app protection policy for Windows, it's intertwined with the condition access.
Yeah, it's intertwined with conditional access.
Okay. Do we still need additional profiles like or configuration like compliance policy, device restriction, anything else?
You can add this. You can add this, but then bear in mind if a personal device will most likely do not match the compliance settings that you have for your corporate devices. So if you add or edit the conditional access policy and you say the device needs to be compliant, and let's say, just out of the top of my head, it's an older personal device that sits in the living room at someone's house, but it's a 7-year-old device and it does not have a TPM2 chip, for instance. So it cannot be BitLocker, it does not have a secure boot, etc., etc. And if you configure those things in your corporate device's compliance policy, saying secure boot needs to be enabled, then you will not be able to access the corporate data from a personal device because that device is not compliant because it does not meet the compliance settings that you have.
This is a really good point. Does this also does it even the same meaning? Has it to do with Defender? Because recently Intune has released this integration for Windows for MAM with the Defender. So do you think this as well has to do with Defender, meeting the TPM requirement and so on?
No, the Defender part is also set up in my tenant, for sure. But that has actually nothing to do with the way that the personal device will connect to the corporate tenant and to the corporate data. It's just it adds just an extra level of security. But if a device, like I said, is 7 years old and they use I don't know, Norton for Home or something from Symantec or whatever, if you are going to set restrictions that they need to use Defender or that they need to be enrolled, then you will not be able to access the company data because it's a personal device. The device itself is not really enrolled into Entra and also not into Intune. The device will also not show in Intune because it's not enrolled in Intune. Your device will show, and I will just pop up the Microsoft 365 portal. And then with devices and active devices, you have two categories there. When they come.
The internet.
Yep. Let's refresh. And here we are. We have fully managed devices. These are devices who are actually enrolled in Intune. These are now Macs, but whatever. And then you have the button App Managed. And these are actually all your MAM devices. And if you go, my demo device is demo VM4. If I go into Intune and I say devices, Windows, there is none. They are managed.
I go
actually, yeah. And
I go in,
to actually go a few steps ahead. And where is it? It's tenant administration. I always need to search for it. Apps. You can wipe them here in an app selective wipe. And this is the only place in Intune where your MAM device will show. And otherwise, it's in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center under App Managed. And here you can remove the company data. Let's say I'm working as a consultant for another company, which is also a use case. And I need to have, I need to access company data. I need to access SharePoint. I need to access Teams, OneDrive, whatever. I will set up everything based in Edge, and my device will show up here. So when my project is done, and I use my own personal device, which is enrolled in my own Entra ID and my own Intune, so I cannot enroll it in the customer's tenant because you can only enroll in one MDM. And when my project is done, they just go in here and they say, remove the company data from my device. And then my Edge profile and everything, it will disappear from my device. And it will seem like I was never on their environment whatsoever. So no traces in the backend on their tenant, and also no traces of it on my device, which I find pretty cool, actually.
Okay, this is the difference between then the selective wipe and the active device app management. That's the difference between them. Because
it's the difference between them.
And this is the difference. So you recommend removing the apps from this active devices under the app management, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what you recommend. Okay.
Yeah, so an app managed device, if you create the policies, the app protection policies in Intune, you have the choice to do a managed device or managed apps. And MAM is actually managed apps. So you only manage the apps on that device. So your security is based on the applications and not on the device. And that's the big difference.
Okay. Okay. I go what I mean. Okay. I think we are ready for the demo.
All right. So let's say I will open Chrome and I will head to office.com. Let's make it full screen and sign in. Intune, I need to check the tenant name just to be sure. Intune.team. Yeah, I got a lot of tenants, so sorry about that.
No worries.
And it says already, you cannot get there from here. And this is because the conditional access policies and the app protection policies are based on Edge. So I launch Edge, and this is really convenient. And it asks me to log on again. So I have gotten these credentials, let's say from the customer who wants me to do some stuff. And this is really important. From my personal point of view, Microsoft should alter this because nobody knows what to do with it. You must think about it in a perspective of an end user, not an IT person. And he gets this screen and he says, what is this? Normally, they just close it or they press OK. When they press OK, your device will be managed because it says, allow my organization to manage my device. So your device will be Azure AD registered. And if you have automatic enrollment set up on your tenant to automatically enroll devices from Entra ID to Intune, your personal device will be enrolled into Intune, which you do not want. You can always filter this by saying in Intune to block personal devices and stuff like that, and then you will not be enrolled into Intune. But this is other configuration. But you need to tick this off, and then you say, okay.
Okay.
And this is really important.
If I have clicked on no sign in with the app, would this mean directly that only the app will be managed? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So that means for you folks who's watching, please communicate this with your users just to avoid any issues
definitely.
in the future.
I've written this out completely on my blog site, and I made it as visible as I could. Go down, go down, go down, go down.
I'll be surely will be linking this blog under this video.
So the user experience, so this is what we had, and you can access it from there, sign in with your work account, blah, blah, blah. And this is where I put it. And I also added the Microsoft article for it. So it's clearly visible. So you must clear the checkbox. Leaving this checked enrolls your device in mobile device management and not mobile application management. So don't select no sign in this app only. Just tick this out, tick the box, and then press OK. And then it says you're all ready. Then, and I clicked the remove data just before we started, because this takes a lot of time. It can take up to an hour before your data is removed, which I find a little bit slow. But yeah, that's my personal view on this.
Due to some technical issues, we had to record the demo separately. Joery will take it from here. So guys, enjoy.
Okay, let's dive into the demo. And first, make sure that you block the enrollment of personal devices, and you can do that by going to the Intune portal, devices, enrollment, device platform restrictions. Click on all users, click properties, and make sure that personally owned for Windows is set to block. Now let's head over to our virtual machine. It's a clean Windows 11 24H2 installation, and I installed Firefox and Chrome just to show you how it works. No primary browser, so let's open Firefox and surf to office.com. We sign in, use our account. Enter the password. Let's save it. And it says instantly you can get there from here. And it asks you to launch in Edge. If everything is configured correctly, we will have the same behavior in Chrome. So let's do it from Chrome. Accept the cookies. Sign in. And exactly the same message appears. You cannot get there from here. Now let's launch in Edge. Open Microsoft Edge. And sign in with our company credentials. Now this is a very important step. You need to tick off this box because otherwise your entire device will be managed. And this is what we don't want. So please inform your users, either with a document or a walkthrough guide or whatever, that they need to tick off this box first before pressing OK. In my experience, most users leave it on and they just close it on top, or they just click OK, which you do not want. So make sure that this checkbox is unchecked before clicking OK. And now the device will register with the company and apply the policies that we need. And okay, you're all ready. We've added your account, so let's click Done. Now Edge is going to set up the company profile. Just click Continue. And here we go. And you will see that you have a managed account, that the profile is managed by organization. The personal account that you have from your personal device is also still there, so you can switch very easy from one profile to another. Now, let's do the good stuff. Let's say we open Outlook, and we will probably have a mail here. And let's copy some data from this mail. So select, copy. And here you have the app protection policy live working. So your organization prevents you from copying content from this website. Okay, so that's the first cool thing. Now let's see with the PDF file that we have as an attachment. Let's say I want to download this. You cannot also download this file because it's also prevented from downloading. This is all. This is the app protection policy at work. Now let's say we want to configure OneDrive with this account. We have our OneDrive icon right here, and we want to add an account. Let's add an account, and we use our company credentials. Enter the password. Oh, wrong. And now it says the device must comply with your organization's compliance requirements. This is the second conditional access policy that we have configured, which says if you want to use the Microsoft 365 apps, your device must be compliant, because this is a personal device which is not compliant with the compliancy settings that we set up in our Intune environment. This device will not be able to use the Microsoft 365 apps from the organization, because simply it's not compliant. So this is actually the demo on how it works. And if you close it, then it just says there was a problem signing you in. So this concludes really the demo. So you have seen the cool stuff on that we're not able to download things, that we're not able to copy paste stuff, that we're not able to use the Microsoft 365 apps. And this is just the combination of the conditional access policies working together with the app protection policies that we have. I've also configured an app configuration profile. And if we close Edge down and we open it up again, check for the profile, it's still here. So this is the managed account. And if you noticed, we have a personal Edge icon also on the desktop, which directs you to your personal Edge profile. So in the managed profile, if we select a new tab, it automatically goes to office.com. This is because we have configured a app configuration profile also, and I will show you. So in apps, in the Intune portal, in apps, app configuration policies, I have a policy MAM for Windows. And just for the Edge browser, I have some configuration settings. Oh, where is it? Settings catalog, here. And it says the homepage URL is office.com and the new page URL is also office.com. This is just for the demo purposes, but you can see when I add a new tab, it redirects me instantly to office.com. When I close off the browser and I open the work profile again, it will redirect me instantly to office.com, and I can work in the Edge browser with all the Microsoft apps that are available according to the license that I have. And this concludes actually the demo of Windows for MAM.